All right, here we go. Now we are live.
We
Okay.
are back again after. I'll tell you this: we haven't sat down to record anything since at least February.
Yeah, very early February. We're good at this. We're
Yeah.
good at consistent uploads.
Well, I mean, we had to record all the stuff in advance, just to make sure we could actually get it out on time. But here we are. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but anyway, welcome to a very special Q&A for Your Time Starts Now, a Taskmaster podcast. As always, I'm Emerson.
And I'm Joe.
And today we'll just be answering a bunch of questions that people have sent in either via the email or just asked us personally.
Or
And
left in YouTube comments.
or we left in YouTube comments, and we will do our best to answer them.
Yep. Which, to start with, I would like to address one YouTube comment that was sent to us and has since, I believe, been taken down because it's not up there anymore. But I would like to address this from this person who I will not name because they might have realized their mistake, which is a comment left on episode 6. Listen, I haven't listened to your other episodes, but I think the mistake you might be making is calling this a Taskmaster podcast, and I'm 9 minutes in, and it's about the Masked Singer. So I'm bailing and suspect others are too. Congratulations, person. You successfully didn't watch any of the content and then proceeded to make a snap decision after 9 minutes of a 2-hour episode. I would just like to give you a round of polite golf applause for leaping to conclusions. Good for you.
What I just want to say in response to that is, I should stress, while this is a Taskmaster podcast, it's also an unofficial Taskmaster podcast. So
And it's also a disaster.
We're not strictly stuck to speaking about Taskmaster. We're also allowed to go off on tangents, and we're allowed to talk about our personal lives as well. But ultimately, this is a Taskmaster-based podcast.
I enjoy how this person made it 9 minutes and then decided they weren't going to listen to this, even though in those 9 minutes, we made reference to Taskmaster and a bunch of other stuff too. It's not like this came out of nowhere.
I should just say in advance, if you hear a sort of like fizz, that's me opening a bottle of a fizzy drink, which I won't name because I don't like naming products on...
I'm drinking water. I'm drinking water because I was thirsty. So, yeah, I would like to address that. Fortunately, we did not get many other comments, except for one person who commented on the trailer back in very early. When did we post that? In like March? That person said that he wasn't going to listen to the. That person said he was not going to listen to this because he didn't need to have another Taskmaster podcast, which is also something that happened in Reddit, where in the first episode where someone tried to convince us not to make this podcast because there was already an official one, which fortunately some other people yelled at him too in the comments, but that was really funny.
We're not doing this to try and overthrow Ed Gamble's podcast, although we're still calling him out every single week, and we still want you to come onto the podcast to at least talk Ed Gamble. If anyone who has been on Taskmaster is listening to this, please feel free to send us an email.
At ytsnpod@gmail.com. This also applies to the crew as well. If anyone who's been on the back of stage part of the show, including Mr. Damien Eggs, who I would like to apologize for making fun of your name in episode 6, but
no, I don't think Damien Eggs minds, because he'll probably be like on his knees rejoicing that someone has finally mentioned his name. But
yes.
What
were you going to say? I'm sorry.
What I wanted to say is, obviously, with Series 1, we recorded we recorded the first episode about 2 months before it came out. So sorry, I'm going to burp. All right, sorry. That's staying in because we're that kind of podcast. Yep. What happened unlike what we're doing, we're recording this episode, this Q&A, on the 19th of April. It's a Monday, and we hope to have it out on Wednesday, the 21st of April.
We do.
So that's an incredibly short time for us to edit. That only gives us one day because I edit all the episodes. Because I think I've got more free time than Joe has.
And then I do the YouTube release typically at like fuck o'clock in the morning, the like 2 or 3 days before it's up. It goes up. So
Yeah, but
you need to send that to me ASAP so I can put the YouTube video together.
yeah, but yeah, we hope to have this. We should have this episode out 2 days from when we're recording this on the 21st of April.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, well, this episode will be split into two parts. The first part will be the larger of the two parts, hopefully, and we will just that will be the Q&A portion of this. We will answer all the questions we can find, and yeah, we should answer them honestly to the best of our detail. And the second part will be concerning the future of this podcast, because we've got a couple of things we need to say about that, but we will cross that bridge when we come to it.
We are still doing the podcast. Don't say it like, oh, the future of the podcast is in jeopardy. It's like we are actually going to keep doing this
I mean,
podcast.
for all intents and purposes, it could be in jeopardy. I mean, what if we forget to come back?
It's not like I have anything else going on, Emerson, other than work, where I can just annoy you to do this.
I mean, that's true. We will definitely make an effort to if the podcast for whatever reason ends, we will publicly say when it will end.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
yeah, which I enjoy this, so I would like to keep doing this. So
Me too, because it gives me an excuse to watch Taskmaster again.
Yeah.
But oh well. I guess we've got nothing better to do than to jump into the questions. I believe you've got all the questions. You've got all the questions to my knowledge.
So the first question was emailed to us by Paul Sanford, who is actually, I know him on a Discord that I'm in. He goes by Spelvin there. And is in the comments of the videos. Actually, if you currently, while watching this in 2021 in April, go back, he's left comments on most of the videos that are like helpful and informative. He's asked questions. Hello, gentlemen. Of the currently known Taskmaster filming locations, which have you been to and which would you like to go to? Now, I'm just going to preface this by I have never actually been to the United Kingdom. I've been to Ireland, but that is very notably not the United Kingdom, as any Irish person will tell you. So I've never.
We don't want to piss off any Irish people.
No.
The United Kingdom and the Republic of Ireland are two separate entities. And if you are stupid enough to think they are the same entity, just don't associate yourself with us, please.
There's a very long period of history that would say exactly about that portion of geopolitics, which we're not going to get into. But I haven't been to the United Kingdom, so I haven't been to any of them. But I would very much like to go to the Taskmaster house, and maybe some of the other locations around there, like the pavilions that they have a lot of the team tasks in. Always seems like a fun location, but no, currently I have never been to any of them.
Okay, so in terms of my answer to that question, I've mentioned that not only do I live in the UK, but I do live quite near the Taskmaster house, although I've never actually seen it. Locations I have been to, though, include I've been to the gazebos, where, if you remember from series 1, it's where Frank and Tim did the make this bed to a hotel standard task.
Yeah, that's where I'd like to go, because that's a very interesting looking location.
In terms of other locations, there's one location in I think you'd like this one. It's I know we're jumping way ahead here, many series in the future. Why do I keep saying seasons? I think it's your Americanisms rubbing off on me, man.
Yes, as a brief aside, in the United Kingdom English, it is series and in the United States, it is season. This has caused me some amount of grief in the past when I first started getting into Top Gear, because the first episode I ever saw was the end of like season 6. It had the white van challenge, and it ended with Clarkson saying, "That's the end of the series. Goodbye." And I'm like, "Oh, I really liked this show." And then I eventually learned that season and series were the same word. as
Yeah.
far as meaning went.
Anyway, back to the answer to that question. The location I would most like to go to, it's one of the staple locations of Series 8, which has Lou Saunders and Ian Sterling. It's the Buckinghamshire Railway Centre where they do the it's the get
Yes,
to Alex without being seen by him. I think that's the task.
I would love to do that. That is
Yeah.
a very interesting location. I'd love to go there.
Yeah, and as because we're both big train nerds,
Hmm.
I think that area would suit us as well. Um, I'd also like to obviously this is a little bit of spoilers for Series 11, which is currently airing as we're recording this. Unfortunately, I don't know the name of this exact location, but it's the airfield that the plates task takes in. I'd
Yeah.
like to go there. Anything that sort of involves like has a vehicle theme to it, I really like.
I would too. I haven't watched season 11 yet because it's not yet available, but I did see the plates task. And from everything I've been seeing, the inside of Mike Wozniak's head is where I'd like to go to see
Oh,
what that's like.
I mean, it may. We'll talk. I want to say. I don't want to wait 11 series to say this, but Mike Wozniak is a bloody gem of a human being, and
Hmm.
he should be protected at all costs.
Hmm.
I said on Reddit that Taskmaster has the amazing power to make you fall immediately in love with people you've never ever known before, and that's something that can't be understated. It's sort of like when someone goes on a talent show. I think they find overnight success, and I mean, people who go on Taskmaster obviously have to be famous enough to qualify, but Taskmaster's sort of like that boost to their career that will get people to know them and enjoy their work a little bit more, and that's why I think it's a great show.
Yeah.
But yeah, in answer to your question, Paul was that was his name? Sorry if I got the wrong
Yeah,
name.
that's the name in the email.
Uh,
Yeah,
uh,
his name is Paul, I
okay.
believe.
Thank you for that question, Paul. That's a brilliant question. I'm sorry I thought I'd got your name wrong, but yeah, we definitely appreciate you sending that in. Um, any other questions,
Yes, we do. I
Joseph?
have a question from some people who wish to remain anonymous, so I'm going to refer to them as mom and dad because they are my parents. Emerson, why is there a painting of a naked lady in your parents' house from episode 1 that you mentioned? Because we never got because I didn't think to ask about this at the time. Why is it there, and who is it of?
Um, the answer to both of those questions is quite simply I don't know. It's been there. I think the painting arrived. Did I say what year the painting arrived in our house in the original
It's
episode?
been long enough to be a heritage monument, is what I believe the joke was. But you are in your parents' house right now, aren't you? Or are
No,
you?
I'm actually back at university.
I was going to say, could you ask? Because this is a genuine question that my parents have been asking me for, because they listen to this and they have been asking for like 3 or 4 times why you have this and who is it of?
Quite simply, I don't know. I think if I had to put a year on when my parents got this painting, I would probably say some, well, at a time span rather, I'd say sometime between 2008 and 2012, which even 2012 seems quite late to have bought it.
Oh my god. And it's
And in
just been there.
yes, it's just been there. The thing is, I don't think it was till in like 2013 that I realized the woman in the painting actually wasn't wearing any clothes.
Oh my god. Do you have like a picture of this thing? I need to see this. I need to see what exactly is in your parents' front room that is visible. Like,
I'll tell you what, when we finish recording, I'll ask either my mum or my dad to go and take a picture of this painting and send it to me. And then if you can Maybe we'll make that the thumb, like the little pit.
I'll
Sorry, I
put
just
that in the YouTube video.
sorry, I
Also,
just hit my microphone. But what I was
I'll
going to
put
say
that in the
is,
YouTube video, and then
we'll make it.
also,
Should we make it like the thumbnail for this
yes,
episode?
yes, we should.
But
Also,
also, we'll have to make sure we censor the
yes, we'll use
nipples.
little cutouts of Greg Davis's face, as in
Yes.
Taskmaster tradition. But can you also ask them why they have it?
Yeah.
Because I really want to know. Like I'll go in and I'll edit in like the text message response that you have, so that I can come in like right here.
I mean, if you do that, it might be very very underwhelming because it's just like what if my parents. I might not even text my parents. I might call them. But what if they say we don't know why we got it? We just have it, and then
Then
it's like,
that's even funnier because if no one knows why it's there, then it becomes basically a cryptid. And that's hilarious. Especially if like because then we can make jokes about it. The mysterious naked woman painting in your family's house. Like I can just unleash a whole swath of jokes about this. Why is it why is it there? Like, has anyone tried to take it down? What if it's a mimic from Dungeons and Dragons and you take it down and it bites you? It's like there's a whole range of jokes there. I almost hope they have no idea why they bought it. This thing just appeared in your house one day, and no one knows where it came from. Do 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 do. It's like it's an episode of the Twilight Zone.
I mean, it probably could. So maybe some things are better left unexplained, but we'll try and make sure this isn't one of them.
That's excellent. That's excellent. Okay. So next thing. Well, do you have any questions then? Because the next one I have is came from an anonymous Discord comment. What is your PIN number? Because we've joked about that several times. The PIN number is no. There's the answer to that.
I mean, if you want our pin numbers, you'll have to come to our doors and wrestle the information out of us. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe someone actually asked that question.
I think it was a joke. I
Yeah,
think it was more of a joke
I
than
meant
anything
it as a
else.
joke, and I can't believe someone even asked it, joke
Because
or
it's
otherwise.
funny.
It's funny
Uh,
but cliche.
you got to try. And then not really anything else. I mean, do we want to talk about our socials because actually we never actually gave out our social media information like we said we would in episode 1, which this is the end of the first season, so I guess we should do that.
I mean, I guess it seems appropriate.
Yeah. Do you want to, or we can just skip this?
Um, I think I might as well. I mean, it's just my Instagram. Uh, so do you want me to go first or should I?
Yes, you go first.
So my Instagram is at the one and only Emerson, but there's dots in between each word, so it's the dot one dot and
Eh,
dot only dot Emerson.
Yep, and you have 666 followers right now, a nice demonic
That's
number.
right.
Then I have 2 Instagrams. For one of them is at Electronics in Nature. That's all one word. When we do the YouTube video, I'll take screenshots of all of our accounts. I'll put them up there so that people can see what they are. The other one is at aboveaverage.joe because obviously I cannot be an average Joe. And then if you want to reach out to us at the official accounts for the podcast, we are on Instagram as YTSN Podcast. Our email address is once again ytsnpod@gmail.com.
Uh,
What is our Twitter account?
I'm just
'Cause-
checking because I mean I can't remember it off the top of my head. Sorry if my voice sounds a bit weird. I'm just looking down at my computer. Um, do 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 do. Okay, it's Joe, entertain the people as I'm doing this.
Entertain the people. Well, I just got back from a lovely trip to Utah. I believe it was mentioned briefly in the sorry no episode thing that Emerson put up, which we're going to take down now that we've actually filmed this. We've taped this episode. But I went on a lovely trip to Moab, Utah, because I got vaccinated and I wanted to go on vacation. I took a lot of pictures. It's very beautiful. If you are in the United States and you do want to come out here, it's very good, but bring lots of water and good hiking shoes because you'll need it a lot.
Okay,
And
so I've got our Twitter handle.
yes, what is it?
The Twitter handle is at YTSN Pod.
Okay, that is our Twitter handle, and then we are also on Spotify. We are on Apple Podcasts. Did we ever get on Google Podcasts?
I think so, but I don't think we've had as much success there. I know you finally got us on Pandora.
Yeah, Pandora got back to me well after episode 6 aired, saying that we are on. I have not looked at the analytics at that at all because I figure that no one's going to because we haven't said or done anything about that yet because it's a little late in the game, but we are on Pandora and just search us by the name of the podcast on there, and that's how you find us on there. There's not really a lot to say about our podcast links just because there's not real there's no feedback comments that you can get on Spotify or Pandora. We are not on SoundCloud, though. I would like to point that out. We did say that we would be on SoundCloud.
Yeah, we're not
and the
on
problem is that
SoundCloud. We have to we get like the thing with
3 hours free.
Yeah, and then we have to pay. This is why I chose to like use Anchor, because Anchor is it's owned by Spotify, and because it's owned by Spotify, its main method is like obviously people paying for like months or
Spotify
whatever.
Premium.
Spotify Premium, that's it. Sorry, I don't know what I'm on about. Then you don't need to sort of pay for Anchor.
This podcast is sponsored by viewers like me, but not Emerson, because Emerson doesn't pay for Spotify Premium.
I do, actually. I got Spotify Premium now. Joke's on you.
Ah, wonderful. So, that's an update from the first episode. Then.
So when we can talk about our Spotify Wrapped at the end of the year, should I still have it by then?
Yeah. At which point we'll probably be doing what, season 5 at this rate?
Yeah, probably. Speaking of that, I think it's important we mentioned that we also surpassed a couple of listener milestones, or like plays rather. So we would like to thank you because we have passed both 100 and 200 plays. So
that's great. On which services?
All services that aren't YouTube that our podcast is on, basically.
Oh, that's great. And then on YouTube, if I can pull that up,
I'd say we've probably got a total of about 200 or 300 views on YouTube.
Let me see how many views we have on there. Your time starts now. Oh, good. There's another podcast on there with the same names. I'm just going to go to the account. We have 16. We have 16 subscribers, which is great. I think one of them is me, so that's 15 people who aren't me.
So stop hitting your microphone stand, Emerson. Okay, that's better.
Yeah. Our top viewed video is episode 1, which got 147 views.
Of course it would be. The
rest of them all have around 50 to 100 views.
Get these episodes more views, people.
Yes, and leave more comments. I think Paul or Spelvin or whatever his name is, because he uses different names.
He's commented on pretty much every single video.
On different services, yes. I think he's a little lonely in having commented on them specifically, but yeah.
Let's give him a clap, though. He deserves it.
Yes, good for you, man. Good for you. But yeah, we have all the videos up. They're all in the season 1 playlist, and if you want to we have 216 views in the last 28 days. So,
can you tell me how many people are subscribed and how many are not? Like percentage of how many people have subscribed and how many are not subscribed?
I can, at the risk of sounding like a like one of those clickbaity YouTube channels, if I can find that specific analytics page, which you might have to You might have to entertain the people.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't know how I can entertain you guys. It's just
Ah, here
like,
we go. I found
oh,
it. So
thank you.
so we have 69% of people who have watched this not subscribed.
60. At the same time, I want to keep it that way because, of course, 69. But also, 69% of you guys, you should subscribe. Please.
Yes,
It's
69%.
free. It's
Yes,
free to
and
subscribe.
yes,
It's not
and
like
then
the Patreon, which at this point in time does not exist, although might soon.
it might not. That's up to everyone else. Um, Traffic source is mostly external at this point. We have not yet captured the attention of the algorithm. So it's all links that we have shared online, and then our just going through some other stuff.
This does sound a little bit sad, but sometimes you have to start somewhere.
We're a small podcast. I mean, if anyone's still listening to this, it's great because that means they're actually watching. But most of our viewers have come from mostly computers or mobile phones. Though I would like to give a specific shout out to the one person who, at the very beginning of this, watched the entire length of the trailer on his PlayStation, which I don't. You had to search that or something. I don't even know how that would work, but that is definitely some dedication there. They watched all 4 minutes of it, which I think is really funny.
Oh, while we're on the topics of analytics, I could tell you. So I could give you the analytics from like where our listeners are from and like our age
Oh,
groups and.
please do, because I have not gotten any of that stuff on YouTube because the the um the numbers aren't big enough yet.
Okay, so I'm having to sort of, because my computer's right behind my microphone, so I'm gonna have to sort of lean to the side of it a little, so that might sound
That's
be that.
fine.
So 37% of our viewers, this is our largest audience, is from the UK. 98% of those. Wait, this doesn't stack up. 98% of our UK listeners are from England, and 1% is from Northern Ireland.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't know why it's 98 and 1, which that doesn't equal 100, but oh well. Next, we are 25%, one quarter of our listeners are from the States. Our largest share of state listeners are from Washington, D.C., 24%. Then it's Texas with 21%, Washington State with 16%, Illinois at 10%, Virginia and New York State, both at 5%, Colorado at 2%, Maryland also at 2%, and also 2% is, I should have said all of these at 2%, but Wisconsin and Oklahoma and California and New Hampshire are all at 2%. So, I mean, good on you
Good for
guys.
these people.
Next, we've got Australia. 50% of our listeners are from Queensland, 20% are from South Australia, and we've got 15% from Victoria and another 15% from New South Wales.
Awesome.
And then we've actually got some listeners from non-English speaking countries too, but we'll get to that in a second. We've got listeners from Canada, 85% from Manitoba, 15% from Ontario. We've got listeners from Germany. 70% of our German listeners are from Saxony, 20% from Hamburg, and oh god, 10% of our listeners are from Schleswig-Holstein. I'm so sorry if I pronounced that wrong. I should have mentioned that 10%, 8%, and 7% of our listeners are from Australia, Canada, and Germany, respectively. We've got 4% of our listeners are from New Zealand, 90% of them are from Wellington, and 10% are from Auckland. 2% from Sweden, 50% of our Swedish listeners are from Skane. Sorry, I think that's how I pronounced it. If you're Swedish, I'm sorry I pronounced that wrong. Belkinge, 33% of our listeners, and 16% of our listeners are from Stockholm. So that's good. We've got 2% of our listeners are from Poland, but there's not enough data telling us where they're from, weirdly. We've got less than 1% from the Netherlands listen, specifically all from North Holland. Norway, not enough data, but it's less than 1% as well. And finally, we've got Slovenia, and all of our listeners are from, oh, Jesus.
Ljubljana?
Ljubljana, that's the one.
That's the capital of Slovenia.
Oh, okay. If you're in one of those small countries, if you're from any of Slovenia, Norway, Netherlands, Poland, Sweden, New Zealand, or Germany, are smaller demographics. Actually, if you're from any of these places, hello to you too.
Also, I'd like to apologize to the Slovenian listeners of our podcast because I'm pretty sure that I absolutely butchered the pronunciation of your capital city.
Don't worry, I
Because
did
I
too.
think I put the L and the J in the wrong place.
I've got listening platforms and devices too. So 29%, which is quite high, 29% of our listeners are from Apple Podcast, 20% are from Spotify, 7% are from Overcast, 4% from Google Podcasts, so we actually do have Google Podcast listeners, and 40% are from other platforms. Which
is this Anchor's analytics?
Yes.
Okay, has anyone come from Pandora yet? Because I'm actively on Pandora's website, and it is absolutely not telling me any analytics at all.
Maybe that's the other, or maybe it's involving YouTube and stuff. I've got devices as well. This makes great content, doesn't it? 30,
I think it's entertaining.
I mean, to each their own. 30% of our listeners have listened on an iPhone, 14% have listened on an Android, 4% have listened on Windows, 4% have listened on Mac, and 48% have listened to it on something else. This includes the guy who listened to the trailer on his PlayStation.
That's great. That guy was on YouTube. I wonder if he'd listen to it again. But that's amazing that someone did that. I really appreciate that guy.
We've got gender analytics too. 64% of our audience is male, 34% is female, 2% is not specified, and there are no, as far as no non-binary listeners to my knowledge.
Okay, do you think that they just haven't specified it because maybe the platform doesn't allow them to specify as non-binary as an option?
I mean, no, well, Spotify I know allows you to give non-binary as a gender option.
Oh, well, that's very inclusive.
Um,
Which actually, if I may for a second, I have a question for any non-binary listeners of this podcast. Is there a good gender-neutral set of insults for people? Because I really need to insult inanimate objects, and I always feel bad about gendering them unnecessarily.
That is the most you question you could have possibly asked.
Because I need to yell at my Amazon-based voice assistant unit in my house, and because it only listens to me when it feels like it, and I always feel like gendering it is not great because you can switch the voice options and everything, so I need to know what it is. And I've asked some of my friends who are in the LGBT community, and I've gotten mixed results. The best one I've gotten so far is honorless fuckwit, but I feel like there's something that's more laser-focused to the non-gendered community that I don't know about. So if you do have an idea for a genderless insult, please let me know at ytsnpod@gmail.com.
Sure. And finally, I can give you the age analytics. So 6% of our listeners are between the ages of 18 and 22. Slightly larger, 23% of our listeners are between the ages of 23 and 27. This is our largest demographic. 40% of our listeners are between the ages of 28 and 34, 11% between the ages of 35 and 44, and 17% between the ages of 45 and 59.
Oh, cool. Good on people for listening to this. Good on. We have good cross demographics appeal. Also, how many people were in that last one for the what to what age group?
45 to 59. That's 17% of our group, which is quite high.
Yeah, I know my parents are at least in that group because I know they've listened to this. They've listened to at least the first 2 episodes of this. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad.
I'm not sure if my parents have listened to mine. I don't. Maybe I'll sit them down at some point and maybe force some sort of Clockwork Orange style, except
Eh.
instead of doing the thing with the eyes, because I mean you don't need your eyes for a podcast. Maybe I'll sort of like maybe I'll do it with the ears instead.
I mean, that's one way of doing it. I just was gonna. They offered to watch it.
Mm.
Mine offered to watch it themselves. It's like I didn't. It's like, oh, you guys are listening to this. That's cool. And it's like I made a running tally of like any jokes I made in my head. It's like, nope, nope. I kept this as I kept this how I would normally speak.
All right, so I guess that's does it for everything sort of like Q&A and analytics based. Should we briefly discuss what's going to happen after this episode?
Yeah, yeah. That you seem to have this more down pat than I do. But so would you like to do this?
Yes, so I should state we will have to be taking a little bit of a break after this episode. And the reason is because I'm approaching my the end of my first year at uni. I've got a couple of assignments I need due in, so I will need to take a bit of break from recording and editing to focus on those. Although I do hope to start to sit down with Joe again and start recording in June sometime. So I'm afraid there
Yeah. So
won't.
that is the plan as far as
Mm.
we've discussed. Is that in June, Emerson, freshly done from school, is going to come back, and we're going to do seasons 2 and 3 together.
Yeah, we're going to record series 2 and 3 at the same time because they're both quite short, and I feel like it'll give the people something to listen to. Should we uh yeah, basically it'll just be sort of like a trade off. But I'm sorry, but you don't expect any episodes from between now and the end of May. But definitely keep an eye on the space for any sort of update.
Yeah, and I will keep the Instagram updated, and you have the Twitter account, so we'll be keeping social media updated. And if you do have any questions or you want to reach out to us about when this is going to be, reach out to us at ytsnpod@gmail.com,
Or you could
or
contact us on our socials, the personal
you could
socials that we've mentioned.
personal social medias. And if
Mm.
you are one of the many people who I've put this in the Discord servers I'm in, you can always reach out to me there
Mm.
because you know who I am, because I'm the one who's posted these episodes in the podcasts and other media chats. So there's that. And
Also,
then
if you or anyone you know is interested in being a guest on this podcast, we will definitely be down to have you because we could do with some outside information from just us too.
yeah, we can definitely do that. We will have to see about which episodes we're going to do that with. If you happen to know anyone who's been involved with the TV show Taskmaster, let them know that we'd love to have them on as well. And yeah, after this, we've just got. Oh yeah, briefly touching on the Patreon, just because I want to get this out. As it stands right now, the Patreon does not exist. The Patreon does not exist, and we're going to wait until after season 3 to decide whether or not we're going to do that. Because if by season 3 we have a big enough audience or there's enough demand for it, we will do that. If not, we won't. But we're just going to leave this out to you, the audience. If you want a Patreon, if that's something you're okay with doing or okay with supporting, please do let us know, because otherwise we're not going to do that. And if we do that, we will have bonus content on there that will be like reviews of other people, like other YouTube channels that have done their own Taskmaster-esque things.
We will be
And
asking consent from these channels to do.
yeah, we're gonna do our best to do that. And then also, in case that people say no, we're also going to do we're thinking we might do terrible movie reviews,
Or
just because.
reviews / watch alongs.
Yeah, yeah, we're gonna do that because I think that'll be really fun, especially because I I love overthinking terrible, terrible, terrible films, and so
I
we
really
will.
want to watch Cat in the Hat, the Mike Myers film.
Oh no, no, no! Don't make me do that. I remember watching that before I realized it was bad. I was thinking like bad films that also have like. Have you ever seen Xanadu?
No,
Oh my God, we're gonna have. I can make a list now. Xanadu is in here.
I can probably list a bunch of bad movies I really want to see. We should get alcoholic drinks because I've been drinking soft drinks all throughout this, but I might need something alcoholic to get me through those movie
Oh,
reviews.
I love yelling about terrible movies. Have you ever seen Thomas and the Magic Railroad? The
I
one time
have,
they
yes.
Oh my god, I'd love to rip that movie apart for an hour or two.
There's one of my favorite bad movies of all time. Not a lot of people know about it, but I'll keep it pretty brief. It's called The Oogie Loves in the Big Balloon Adventure.
Oh my god, what is that?
I'm not going to tell you now because I want you to be as surprised as possible if we ever watched it. Watch it.
Yes, okay. Also, I'm going to leave the one that I really want to do is you ever heard of Buckaroo Banzai and the Adventures Across the Eighth Dimension?
Sounds like a Phineas and Ferb episode, but no, I have
Oh
not.
no, Buckaroo Banzai is so good. It's so good, and it's like for nothing in it is makes any sense. It's got John Lithgow, Christopher Lloyd, Peter Weller. It's a bunch of A-list '80s actors in like the most batshit insane film ever.
I
So we
mean, yeah, if you have any bad movies you want us to watch along or review, obviously you can feel free to send them in to us. Um, we will do a mixture of movies we've both seen and haven't seen because sometimes it's best to sort of like get a balance of both. Oh, do you know what we should watch? We should watch the Fred movies.
no,
Yes,
no,
yes,
no,
yes,
no.
yes.
I refuse. You'll do that one by your damn self. You know, when I say bad movies, I mean like the stuff that Netflix shovels upon its viewers every week because those are terrible. These new ones it puts out. Like,
But if
have
you've
you
got alcohol involved, surely you'll. Sorry, my voice broke. Surely you'll be all right.
there's not enough alcohol in the world to deaden the emotional response to Fred.
I'll tell you this. Um, if the Patreon ever exists, we'll set up a tier, and if we reach a target, me and Joe will sit down and watch the entire Fred trilogy back to back.
Okay, that's going to be like $300 a month or something. If I get 100, because we'll split this two ways.
No,
If
we
I get
won't.
100,
We'll do it like meet a target. If we can meet a target,
yeah.
you and I, we will sit down together and we will watch all three Fred movies back to back, and that is a promise.
Oh, if I'm getting paid for it, I'll do it, but I'll hate you so much.
I mean, I don't. The thing is, I'll watch pretty much any bad movie because I love watching bad movies.
I get that, but a lot of these bad movies are bad because they involve like cringe comedy and stuff, and cringe comedy makes me want to like retract into my own skin. So that's I can't imagine the Fred movies are not going to be like that because I remember being made tangentially aware of Fred whenever the character appeared on other TV shows, like on Nickelodeon in 2008 and stuff like that. And oh boy, I didn't like it then. So let's see how it goes now.
I mean, maybe some things will be left for another day, but I can't think of anything more to add after this. So should we?
Nope. Please pay me so that we have to watch Fred because otherwise it's never happening. Let's end on that, shall we?
Yeah, we our episodes are known for being notoriously long, but we don't want to make this one any longer than is necessary. And I think about 10 minutes of this was just us reading out all our analytics.
Yeah, at least 10 or 15 minutes, which is on brand for us. Which is on
Yeah,
brand. I mean, I can't think of anything more on brand for us other than
yeah.
like a drinking game centered around Korean game shows.
I mean, fair enough, but let's call it a day here. We're nearly at 45 minutes.
Yep.
Okay, so as you all know, I've been Emerson,
And I've been Joe.
and we don't know exactly when we will get back to you, but we hope it'll be soon. Until then, we love you and take care. Wash your hands.
Wash your hands, get your vaccines. In your case, Emerson, go the fuck to bed. It's 10 p.m.
Oh no, man, I'm a student. I'm going out for a walk after this.
Oh my god. Okay.
All right.
Good night.
Bye,
Good night,
everyone.
everybody. Goodbye.
Bye. Bye.